Vlad, the mic. We can't hear you, Vlad. Welcome to those who join, who can hear us. We have, as it always happens, some technical difficulties right at the moment of start. So what we can see is that people are still logging in. So let's just allow for another minute or so before we start, okay? Thank you very much for joining.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great. I apologize for the technical issue. It's strange it was on, but I need to just turn it off and turn it on the microphone, and it worked finally. All right, so let's go right into the session. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Digital Label Masterclass webinar series. For those who haven't joined our previous events, we make those webinars to share knowledge and experience around digital label printing. Today, we will be talking specifically about functional labels with removable properties printed with digital UV inkjet press. We will look at removable label markets, label solutions available for this segment, and in the end, we'll bring it all together to a particular digital printing press. And of course, all of that cannot be done without our experts. With that, I would like to introduce you to Natalia Malhanova, who is a marketing manager. Natalia leads a wide product range of portfolios for special applications at Avery, Dennison, Europe. Natalia will guide us through the materials with removable properties. And our special guest is Martin Leitner, who is a product manager at Durst Phototechnik, a well-known UV inkjet printing press manufacturer. Martin will tell us about the technology and its development. He will also introduce us to the latest generation printing press and explain us how this press is equipped to convert removable labels. Natalia, Martin, welcome. And my name is Vladimir Tulpin. I will be your moderator for today's session. A couple of things before we begin, a couple of administrative things. First of all, this webinar is recorded and will be available at your disposal. Same is true for the slides. Secondly, we encourage you to ask questions. To do that, you need to scroll down at the bottom of your screen and you will see the section questions. You need to type your question, and some of these questions we will answer during the session. You will see the answers straight away under your questions in the same area. For the others, we will have a dedicated time in the end to handle those questions. And thirdly, we also have a question to you. Next to questions, you have polls. If you click on polls, you will have one question we would like to ask you. And the question is, do you print removable labels on your digital printing press? Please answer your question and we will look at the result together in the end. As more people answer, as better statistics we will enjoy at the end. With all that said, let's go right into the session. And to begin with, we'll start with Natalia, who will tell us about functional labels and market segments those materials are used. Natalia?
Very good. So good morning or good afternoon, depending from where you are joining us. Let's speak about reclosure removables. Overall, I might tell you that at Avery Dennison, we have different functional labels. But today, to be rather specific, we decided to focus on this segment because there is a lot of happening in that specific reclosure and removable area, and also in terms of its functionality. So my presentation has two parts. One, to give the idea of what is the functionality and what type of products we advise in that area, the trends. And on the other side, how about digital technology? And do they really fit together? So to start with, Reclosure label, these are the labels that are also known on the market as a peel and reseal solutions. The nice thing about these labels is the functionality that they provide. So on one side, that's the convenience. On the other side, it is the multiple opening and closure of the pack. So think about an image you can see here, the wet wipes, or think about a food product that you buy in a supermarket and you would like it to be fresh for longer. When having a proper reclosure labels, that label gives you the functionality to preserve the content, to avoid, for instance, oxygen to come into the pack. In case with wet wipes, it also helps you to keep the moisture inside the pack, because that's rather important. When your wet wipes dry out, there is no use of them, right? So the label has a functionality to keep the moisture in. It also doesn't allow the chemicals to go out, so you don't have smell around your house of these chemicals. So this is the typical functionality they deliver. Next to it, what is really important for brands is that your product stays in your original packaging. Give you an example, and I'm sure many of you have experienced that. You bought food for your home, you have it in the fridge, but the reclosure label is not there, or maybe it's not functioning properly. So what happens? Your food dries out or loses its properties. Maybe you waste your food with that, and most often what you do, you use a Tupperware or you replace it in a different type of container. What happens is that the brand is lost. Your original packaging is gone. And in case with reclosure labels, when you have the right ones, they help you to keep the brand image and the brand recognition alive. Where we see these labels being used, this is definitely food, fresh, frozen, dry food, like biscuits, for instance. And it's the products that fall into home and personal care area. So think about baby wipes, facial wipes, cleaning wipes, and we have a lot of cleaning wipes nowadays with all the pandemic developments. So these are the typical applications. If you look on the opposite spectrum, a removable label is a label for a temporary use. With reclosure, we could open the pack multiple times, right? So it's a more longer term. Here, it's really a short term. And there we define a range of features you can think of removable labels. Normally, they are identifying the product. So it could be a barcode information. It could be some additional information about the product, a discount marker. Or, and I really like the last example where you see the two pictures, they can replace the individual packaging. So in the past, you could have a pre-packed, in this case, a drinking beaker. And now you don't need all this packaging. You only can use a removable label. And when removing it, you have a clean beaker to use. And so you are contributing really well to the environmental credentials, removing the packaging, amount of packaging used. When removable labels are not used or a wrong choice is made, it all leads to consumer frustration. What I would like to share with you today here are the results of the survey we did, asking customers on their, and in this case consumers, on their experience when it comes to removability. And as you can see, majority, 81%, said that they had difficult time removing a label. Why so? Most probably, not a proper label was selected for that type of application. And the second point was a sticky residue. And I'm sure you also experienced that. When you try to remove a label and you still see some adhesive remaining on the main packaging, and what you do then, you start to scratch. The danger is you will scratch also the surface. And you don't want that, of course, to happen. So below, for your information, the percentages that you can see, it's the percentages of frustration or the most issues consumers have removing a label from these type of applications. So kitchen items, plates, cups, books, frames, electronics, these are the typical examples that should be using removable label for consumer use, but apparently are still not. So there is a quite interesting still opportunity out there in the market to help our consumers and to make them happier. So I think we've established now the difference, and even to stress the point of scratching the surface, I wanted to share with you this example. Specifically for glass, we developed C3NF adhesive. That's a removable adhesive that removes cleanly from the glass surface, developed for interior, so glass in buildings in your house, but also have its application on a car window labeling, and of course the sign of the social distance that we see now very often in every window that where we pass around in the street, right? So this is a typical adhesive that has been engineered to ensure that you do not scratch your glass, that you remove your label cleanly and nicely. So I hope now we have a good understanding of what are the difference, reclosure removal. Now let's look into the trends. So what do we see happening, and especially now post-COVID? The four I would like to mention. So first of all, of course, social distancing. This is a trend, a mega trend that is out there in the whole world, of course. But what it leads to is that we are using more and more products that are helping us to keep our hygiene, proper hygiene. So the wet wipes for cleaning, and especially you will see that in the trends and the forecast for the future, especially cleaning wipes, there is quite a growth expected there. Eating at home, another big trend. We go to the restaurant less and less, meaning we buy food and we want to preserve food for longer. We buy fresh food. And there, the convenience of use is a key for success. Reclosure, removable labels are there to help you. For instance, to keep your pasta, dry pasta, in a package nicely closed and not scattered around your kitchen. The third trend is deglobalization. With all the borders being closed, we experienced the fact that we are relying a lot on the outside world. And what we see now that the value chains are reconsidering sourcing locally. That creates new opportunities for smaller brands, for brands who have a digital print in-house to start using more and more and supply different type, in this case wet wipes for instance, for antibacterial use or maybe cleaning type of wipes. So that's an interesting development that might have a positive impact on the digital as well. And the e-commerce, that's definitely has been all on a very high growth trajectory in the recent months, as we were all sitting at home and buying online. So also there are lots of labels used. There is recycled cardboard used, which is very difficult for adhesion, and specific removable labels suit that type of surface best. And last but not least, sustainability. Sustainability is a major trend, and it's a major focus area also for us at Avery Dennison. Unfortunately, in the last months, to protect their health and well-being, we had to use lots of plastic to prepare food, and to ensure that we keep the spread to the minimum. Still, the planet hasn't changed. We still have one planet that we live in, and we still have the commitment to improve the way we live. So specifically from our side, we aim to, whatever development we do, develop it with sustainability in mind. And I will share in a few seconds, a bit later, what are features do reclosure removable labels bring when it comes to sustainability. But first, let's look at trends in terms of forecast. So if you look at the wet wipes market, it's projected to still grow steadily, and specifically in the main countries in Western and Eastern Europe, talking about UK, France, Germany, and Poland, Russia, Hungary. These are the charts, the colorful charts that you see on your screen. On the left axis, on the left side, you see the values are in million units, so times million units. And it's the volume growth of wet wipes as projected and based on our analysis of Euromonitor data. And the main area where this projection is to happen is based on the growth of a surface cleaning and industrial scale type of products. So think about office spaces, think about hotels, restaurants, airports. We are in the age of cleaning and keeping things proper, of course, to protect the health and also to stop the pandemic. When you look at the food reclosure, there we also see growth expected over the next 10 years, and specifically driven by the few points. First of all, on-the-go consumption. We still prefer the convenience and the smaller spec sizes, but also the fact that health and safety is a key. So a label protects the content and it keeps it protected, to helping us to protect our health and safety as well. Last but not least, clear labels. So clear labels in food has been a trend in the last, I think, 3 to 5 years. Here as well, I mean, clear label shows you what you are eating or what you are buying. And that's a trend of transparency and clarity, knowing where this food is coming from, knowing that it's fresh and it's good. And that's where the label can also help you to strengthen that premium shelf appeal. Sustainability. I promised you to say a few words around it. So when you look at removable labels, actually, they fit 3 criteria of the sustainability dimensions. So first of all is example I showed you before, when a removable label can replace an individual packaging. So with the label, you remove all the packaging that you were using before. So that's definitely helping to reduce the amount of packaging used. Second point is actually a very important one. A removable label, its functionality is to remove cleanly from the main packaging. Meaning, when you remove it cleanly, you also remove the sticky residue, you also remove the adhesive, and then you have 2 products that can go in their separate streams for recycling. In that respect, removable labels are really helping that separation and enabling recycling. And last but not least is the fact that we are using and we're committed to use more recycled content in our own products as well to enable circularity. And in that respect, we are introducing recycled content, polypropylene, polyethylenes in our portfolio. So that's the removable side. Reclosure side, there we see a major trend where, as you can see on the image, we are moving away from the hard plastic lid to a label. And there are 2 ways you can move away from the hard plastic lid. One way is to choose for a rigid label, which usually is a polyester, or you can go into the monomaterial development. A monomaterial means that your packaging, your flexible packaging, and your label are made of the same type of polymer. So if it's a PP, then the label is PP, so it can be recycled in PP stream. This monomaterial development is really focused on enabling recycling of flexible packaging, supported also by CFlex, organization in Europe, who are advocating for more recycling in that area. So as you can see, there is a lot of happening in sustainability area in these functional ranges. But what about digital printing? I will be very honest with you. It looks like so far, from what I know, the conventional printing technology is the main technology in this specific segment, for these specific applications. However, there is no reason why it couldn't be used for digital. And maybe specifically now in these times, when we see the dynamic changes, when we see the variations appearing of different types of, for instance, wipes, of different types of food, where digital is definitely growing, potentially there will be more room also for this technology to play a role. And so I will be very interested to see the outcome of the poll later, to know if the listeners of this webinar are actually active in that area. So to help you In case you have a UV inkjet press and you would like to work with these labels, we have a qualified portfolio of materials and we can extend it based on your demand. Where I think it's important for you to understand, we look at the two aspects. First, the printability, and that's often the choice of the face stock material. And the second part is the adhesive choice. And that's really the adhesive choice will help you together with specific face stock to achieve a specific application performance or functionality. From the face stock perspective, what we have created where we focus on for this digital technology are films with TC707 top coat. It's a proprietary top coat that works very well for conventional and for UV inkjet. So we have one product that fits both technologies. And it fits really nice with UV inkjet or DURS, for instance, capabilities, meaning the durability that they provide or they allow, the moisture resistance. And at the same time, with film, you often have a premium shelf appeal. So to make your life easier, I want to share with you just a list of the main adhesives that we have and main label constructions that we have qualified already for UV inkjet. So that you know when you have an opportunity and an application, this is the quick start for you to test these products and for your own use. So what you can see on the left side are the adhesives. So the first two are reclosure and the bottom three are removables. And on the very right side, you see the product code and product descriptions. So these are the kind of ready-made menu for you if you are in the space of these functional labels and if you have a digital UV inkjet press. So thank you very much. Vlad, back to you.
Great, thank you, Natalia. Natalia just gave us a few examples of materials with removable properties that can be suitable for printing with UV inkjet printing machine. But obviously there are more materials available and also for different market segments. And quite often, you are asking what type of material should I choose for my printing press? And for that, we made a digital tool for you. Then you can go and find this information. And it is online and it's very easy to use. If you go to our website, you can find on the right-hand side the customer tools section. If you click on that, you will have a drop-down menu and you need to select digital material guide. By entering the system, only thing you need to do is to choose the technology and choose the printing model, and you will have a list of materials compatible with your machine. I'm not going to spend time going much in details about that. It's pretty easy to use an interactive tool, so please use it. We made it for your benefit. Before we go into the next part of this session, quick reminder for questions, you need to scroll down. We have a section below, and in the same place, we have a section called polls where we actually ask you a question. I saw some people already gave their answers, but please, for the rest, please don't hesitate and give us your answer, and we will look at the results. As more people answer, as better it is for all of us. With that, I would like to hand it over to Martin, our next speaker. Martin, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Natalia. A very warm welcome also from my side to this webinar. First of all, thank you for the invitation, Vladimir, that I can take part here and do a small presentation also to tell the listeners here how digital UV inkjet printing is entering also this market applications, reclosures and removables. I will talk a bit about, in general, inkjet market, about the inkjet technology, what's the state of the art, and also how it fits specifically then to the reclosures and removables, so to the topic of this webinar. After that, we will also have a short look into our demo center here in Brixton to show you how we qualify also these kinds of materials. I mean, we, in the end, we qualify dozens of materials throughout the year. We have a close cooperation to Avery also, and we would like to share a bit what we do here. So let's have a short look on the market. In the end, it's a fact, digital printing today contributes only 10–12% of the complete print volume. The main, as we can see here on the right side of this slide, is flexography printing. although digital printing is growing, toner and UV inkjet based. Total set like this, you see also that the main player in the market, in the digital printing market, is of course HB. It's the company with the longest history also in the market. But and this is something you see also, you noticed on the last Label Expos and shows, they turned more towards a digital UV inkjet printing show, because every company, every print machine provider is trying to enter that market to provide their solution and the technology. So there is a strong growth in this region. On a worldwide basis, just to give you also there a number, today or by the end of 2019, from this mid and high-end volume printers, digital volume printers, there are around 3,500 units installed. So not the small desktop units, but industrial production machines. When we look also what FINAT was asking their clients or their converters, sorry, actually 1 year ago, so this data presents what is happening right now, or actually pre-COVID, we need to say. There, the question was asked, of course, what are the converters planning to invest over the next 18 months, where the trend was clearly towards inkjet, standalone and hybrid machines, where 3/4 of the interviewed brands and converters, they were answering, yes, I want to invest into inkjet and hybrid technology, and 1/4 which wants to invest also in toner-based technology. So inkjet will not substitute a toner, the toner technology complete. No, it's an addition, and it's an additional production technology for the production floor. On the right side of this diagram here, some info from Keypoint Intelligence, also a market research institute, regarding the growth rate also. We all know, and we especially see it now during this time, during the lockdowns around the world, label and packaging was stable. So even if some customers, they had to reduce their work hours, they had to split shift, that they have less people on the production floor, they were producing. Our customers were producing. We see this on the statistics, we see this on the ink consumption also. So in the end, the volume is still growing. Of course, the investment probably here, when we look at this chart, we see inkjet label printer placements on a worldwide scale. We see that for 2020, around 280 machines are being forecasted. Maybe this number is now not correct anymore, but we definitely see a stable industry and a growing industry. And therefore also for sure a growing install base of digital technology. Also, one interesting slide from the FINAT radar is the run lengths, which are being printed today digitally and which are being printed conventionally. And we see here split in the different end user categories, so food, beverage, personal care, and so on, that the digital printing run length is, what is the lowest one? Personal care or consumer durables, around 440 meters, and it goes up to 1,200 meters in transport and logistics. So relatively small. And this is also, I mean, when we look at the past, coming from the history, all the press manufacturers and the industry thinking was that digital fits to short run lengths, digital fits to probably medium run lengths of a few thousand meters, but then it stopped because economically the TCO is not working out anymore. On the conventional side, we see, of course, an average run length which is much higher, so going also up to 10,500 linear meters. And the interesting is the number, the change number. So the change between 2017, when this question has been asked, and 2019. And there you see growing on the digital side and growing on the conventional side, which sounds quite strange because everybody thinks run lengths in general are decreasing. This is also true. But why do we see this growing, especially also on the conventional side? Is because, I mean, when you have a job mix, you have short, you have medium, and you have long run lengths, but the shorter ones are being taken over by the digital printing and the medium also, and therefore the average run length of the conventional job is increasing. I think that is clear, but it's important to understand this diagram in the correct way. And the learning also out of this is that today run lengths with 4, 6, 8,000 linear meters, they are printed on digital presses or shifted more and more to digital presses because the productivity is there and the quality is there. And yeah, people make money out with that. So there is something behind. In the end, when we talk about inkjet printing, we at Durst, we always say there is a magical triangle of inkjet printing. There is, of course, one element, the printhead, there is the substrate, and there is the ink, all combined with software and electronics and workflow and so on. And today, a press manufacturer can buy a printhead or can buy some ink, but if one of these three elements is not fitted perfectly to the other, then the quality or the productivity is not given of the complete press. So it's really important to invest a lot of research in all of these three elements. When we look at the printhead side, of course, there the biggest development, visible development also for brand owners, the visible development happened there on the printhead side. It's in the end resolution, drop size, and printing speed. But printing speed is also something visible, but a lot of electronics behind. In the end, today, what is state of the art? We are on a level native resolution 1200 by 1200 dpi. Why is it so important? Especially on healed and beauty care products, also on wet wipes, for example, where you have a lot of images, for example, when you think on, you have a label, a wet wipe label, where you have a baby face on for baby wipes, or for the cosmetics, you have a face of a lady to remove the makeup. And there in the past, with a low resolution and high drop size or a large drop size of a printhead, you have seen a lot of points. You have seen the single pixels in the end on the label, which was not accepted in the end by the customer. And therefore, with this step in development in the technology of the printhead resolution, drop size, there is now a quality level where all kind of images, gradients, solids, all types of labels can be produced. And it's very interesting to see this also on a timeline scale. So the three main printheads which have been used in the history also on industrial scale label presses. Okay, so there are also others, also label presses which are still older, but industrial scale label presses is the Czar 1000 series. There is the Kyocera printhead, and now since a couple of years the Dymatic Samba printhead. And you see here the different machines which are equipped with these types or versions of printheads, and you see also on a timeline scale the development, because such a printhead development and integration, it's not a thing of 1 or 2 years. We're talking in generations, also lifelong generations, so 8-10 years till a new printhead is market ready. And there you see where it goes. So also, even if we are now in 2020, it's still early ages in that set of the Samba printhead, which will be state of the art for many more years. Something which goes, of course, out of the printhead is the ink. We all know, also on the conventional side, I mean, UV ink has properties which are unachievable with other ink technologies, with water-based or with donor technologies. There is also on the conventional side, there is an excellent addition to many substrates. When we talk about mechanical stress, chemical stress, temperature stress also, the inks are normally very resistant. That's now not only valid for Durst as a press manufacturer, but also for other digital UV inkjet press manufacturers. The UV ink is durable, as said, when it comes to moist, to temperature changes also. Going back to the topic of this webinar, reclosure labels when there are food products, when they are in the fridge and they are being taken out, they are humid, temperature changes and so on. So there's a lot of stress. Also, I said mechanical when somebody is peeling off a label. But going back to food, there is one important topic, which is low migration, of course. Printing with a standard ink on a reclosure labels is allowed, is okay, it's fine. Of course, depending on the application or the product where the label goes on. This can depend on the different regulations in the different states, but there definitely the use of a low migration ink is recommended or might be needed also for some food products. This is something where we offer also. Going back to the substrates, also on the reclosure wet wipes, removable labels, I mean, the most labels are, or the most substrates, it's either PP or PE, which is well printable. We have seen the top coats also, what Natalia was sharing before. So that's the print surface. For us as a press manufacturer, I'm less interested in the adhesive below because I'm not in direct contact with the adhesive, but for us, interesting is the top coat of the face stock. And there, as we have seen also in the test together with Avery Dennison, there is a very solid and good product now on the market. Especially what I recommend also these types of products is to use a chill roller in the machine, which is quite needed. As we are talking about filmic materials, I just want to show you also the influence again of Corona. Everybody knows what a Corona is. You all have it on your traditional conventional flexi machines. Also, all digital printing presses are equipped with that. But what is good and what is wrong? In the end, it's all about the top coat and the surface tension. The surface tension in general should be around 40, 42 dynes. And if the surface tension is too low or too high, the ink drop which comes out of from the printhead and lands on the substrates, goes away or does not stay where it should be. So lines cannot be straight. You can have pinholes visible in solid area, and there a correct setting is absolutely needed. In the end, to ramp up this only brief introduction, today digital UV inkjet press is on the level of a conventional press, and we actually see that many customers are substituting their conventional presses with digital ones because they have the cost situation on a correct level, and they have the production flexibility with digital press on the press floor. But in the end, how does UV inkjet fit also with this type of functional labels? In the end, it's quite challenging when we think there is a high mechanical stress. People are removing the label. There is a chemical stress when there are, for example, wet wipes with alcohol inside or cleaning detergents. There is a temperature and humidity stress. So quite a high stress also to the different types of labels. But in the end, for UV inkjet, this is not a problem. And before this webinar, I was asking also many of our clients, because I don't have real data how many labels are printed, or wet wipes labels or removable labels are printed digitally. But when I asked around at many of our clients, I have received often as feedback that yes, they are using the press to print these types of products. It's one of the products in their portfolio. So it was a positive surprise for me. And in the end, the reasons are easy, because there is a strong bond between the ink and the substrate, which is crucial. So you can bend the label, you can, you have the mechanical stress. Some customers use also low migration inks, but also many of them just standard inks, which is fine. Also, they don't need to have an additional protective layer, so to apply a varnish to protect the ink or the print from the moisture, for the temperature, for example. So a few other reasons. Natalia was also sharing some market data before. I mean, there are global mass trends now, this cleaning trend with COVID, and this definitely will lead again to shorter run lengths. So more variations, faster variations now also on these labels where digitally perfectly fits inside. So shorter run lengths, many different variations. And also going with that, there will be many reprints. And reprints, you have brand colors on, where brand owners are very sensitive there. The colors must be stable, and this is a big advantage of UV inkjet in general. And even more important now, due to the fact that short run lengths and also medium long run lengths of these jobs can be printed with the same technology economically to make money at the end, means that the brand owner, the final brand owner, always gets the same appearance of the label, which is very, very important. So these are a bit the reasons why UV inkjet perfectly fits also this application. What we want to do now is to have a short look into the demo center. So we have taped this video before now, but to explain you also how we test and qualify these materials, because I think that's quite important. So Vladimir, I give back to you. Hello and a very warm welcome. So let's
just
see.
1 second. Yes, I'm just 1 second.
Hello and a very warm welcome here from the demo center of Tours in Brixen, Italy. Today I want to show you a bit the equipment what we have here, but even more important, how material qualification works. We do have a very good relationship with Avery Dennison, also with Vladimir. We are in continuous exchange to test and develop, or to test new materials, to test them together with our printers to see how the performance is, because this is a crucial work. Because it's the information also what we give to our clients, what Avery Dennison can give to their clients, how to select, identify good materials. Our press today here is the Tau 330 RSC, a model which we have showed 2 years ago the first time. We have this machine equipped with jumbo winders, so we are here on the unwinder side. We see an integrated roll lift and a splice table. Also then on our in-feed side, we have a web guide station, we have a double-sided or single-sided web cleaner, and also...
Because we have a problem, apparently the video is running, but we don't have sound. So pretty sorry for that. You know, it's we're checking several times before it was running, but now for some reason it does not. Let's try one more time, and if not, then we will then just send it over to you afterwards. Let's try one more last time.
Hello and a very warm welcome here from the demo center of Tours in Brixen, Italy. Today I want to show you a bit the equipment. Hello and a very warm welcome here from the demo center of Tours in Brixen, Italy. Today I want to show you a bit the equipment what we have here, but even more important, how material qualification works. We do have a very good relationship with Avery Dennison, also with Vladimir. We are in continuous exchange to test and develop, or to test new materials, to test them together with our printers to see how the performance is, because this is a crucial work. because it's the information also what we give to our clients, what every Dennison can give to their clients, how to select, identify good materials. Our press today here is the Tau 330 RSC, a model which we have showed 2 years ago the first time. We have this machine equipped with jumbo winders, so we are here on the unwinder side. We see an integrated roll lift and a splice table. Also then on our in-feed side, we have a web guide station, we have a double-sided or single-sided web cleaner, and also a Corona station for pre-treatment of filmic materials. When we go on, we come to the print station. This print station is equipped with 8 colors. So there is the white at the beginning, there is the green, the violet, orange, and CMYK. At the moment it's in parking position, but during printing, this maintenance unit will move back and the print heads down to print position. The print head, which is inside this printer, it's Samba print head. We see here it on the table, so there are some data connections, some tubes for other connections, and we see here the nozzle area, so this shiny area where more than 2,000 nozzles are inside. On a printer, 330 in width, printing width, 8 of these print heads are stacked next to each other, so that in a printer which is fully equipped with 8 colors, we have 64 print heads inside. Okay, I close this now again and we leave it here, and let's switch back to the press. So as soon as the web is printed, so the job is printed, we come to the curing section. And in the curing section we have here a chill roller and 2 UV lamps for the final curing. There are also different UV pinning stations in the print unit to pre-cure, to fix the ink drop so that we can get the best quality out of the press. When the web is printed, we go then to the inspection table, tensioning area, and then on the rewinder where we have again our roll lift for easy material and roll handling. One feature I want to point out, you see it here just from the side. This is a nozzle camera, so a camera which can take a picture of the nozzle condition of every print head during the maintenance cycle. Why? Because it can be that there is a nozzle failure, so a deviated or a missing nozzle. The camera can take a picture, and then the software of the printer is able to compensate this nozzle, so to hide it, so that there is no need when there is one missing nozzle in a print head to change this whole print head. This can be done by the operator itself, so it's also more service friendly that the operator, I mean, he's faster, he don't need to call in the service technician to replace or to clean anything. Okay, so far to the printer. But in the end, I mean, we have here a material in now, a filmic material from Avery Dennison, which we have tested also. So how is this testing working? When we get a new roll or a set of new materials from a partner, we load them and print them with the press. So we check, can we transport it? So which tension settings do we need? Do we need a Corona treatment or not? And if we need it, which level of Corona treatment do we need? Then we check if the register, if we can set up the register, and even more important than when it comes to adhesion, so technical properties and print quality, because this is a key element which is needed to qualify a material. So to do that, we print some special test files, multiple test files. A first one, an initial one, is of course a technical file. We want to see how solids are, we want to see how gradients are, how mixed colors are, line sharpness, text sharpness. So it's a visual evaluation of the print. Also, part of a visual evaluation of the print are different files. So you probably know these type of files, different colors, people, images, pictures, to see how are the solids behind? Are they grainy? Do you see a structure? Are they cloudy? How are the gradients? Are they smooth? Is the ink adhesion good also? So of course we test that too. How is the shininess, the glossiness? So a general evaluation of the print quality. And here we give at the end then a rating also on the print performance. And this rating is of course a combination of what we see and a combination of the thousands of materials which have already been tested, so the experience from the operators, so they can judge very well how to qualify such a material. Also very important in labels, or for example cosmetics labels, skin tones. We all know skin tones very challenging. You have a light color, but normally people, you have faces, you have hands, and there a good quality is essential also for the label. So we test this, we have a visual evaluation. We also use the crosshatch tester. So you probably know this device. You do just some crosshatch test. You take a tape and then you test the adhesion of it. So we have a series of tests, and at the end we get an evaluation, we get a rating, and this rating we supply then also to Avery Dennison, and Avery Dennison uploads then the material with some recommendation, with some rating to their database also, so that customers can have an access to it and get correct material. Okay, so now we have tested the material, we have one in here, let's print it. So let's switch to the workflow system, what gets supplied to it together with the machine. We see now here the interface of the workflow in the production job view. So let's have a click on this wet wipes file. When we open the file, which has been uploaded by the operator, we get a brief overview. We see the dimensions, we see the colors which are used, and also already the color separation. So very important for the operator that he understands what is going on with the file. So let's go to statistics, because we want to know the costs of the file. When the file gets uploaded to the workflow, we directly calculate the cost, so the consumption of ink. We see the consumption on the different colors, and in total also per 1,000. And the price per square meter for that file. This file, or this data, can then be used for the cost calculation of the job. Also the impose has been done already directly when uploading, because we have selected a template. So we see it's done already, the step and repeat. So let's send the file to the press. We click on the send to printer dialog. Again, the operator gets an overview on the file, on the step and repeat, on the destination, and then we say directly send to printer. In the top left we see the status, so it's running, it's ripping this file, and we see also on the top right section the status of the file, which is sent to printer. You see, we are working here in Google Chrome, so this is a browser-based software we are using for file management and for color management of these jobs. While the job is ripping to the press, it should be quite there already. So let's switch to the press, and when we go now to the hot folder 9, so already the preview image is already here, so let's wait 2 more seconds and then the file should come too. We see we have here different hot folders which can be used for different clients or different materials, for example. Okay, the file is here, so let's apply the correct material and we say we want to print this file. So it's in the queue, we set the quantity, for example, to 2, and then we start the printing. What happens now? Once in the software we see the status, so the file gets downloaded now to the printheads, the color separations are being downloaded, but then also the printer is moving to print position. That means Before we have seen the parking position with the maintenance unit below the print heads. Now this one moved to the back and the print heads to print positions. We see head down in the software, start motion, accelerate, and we print now some copies of the feed test and some copies of our print job. On the press itself, we have then also a small camera mounted dyno microscope with which we can check the register. And we see here cyan to black, for example, very good register. And with this camera, we can also check the print quality of the job. So the operator can scroll through the web, can move the web forward and backward and check the quality or check if everything is all right. Okay, with that done, I'm going to select now the file again, just the job. And we want to print, I don't know, 250 copies, so 80 meters a minute. We see 80 minutes, not 80 minutes, 80 meters. One job selected. It's a print time of 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. So we start, click on the start. Now the same process again. The files are downloaded to the press and then the printer is starting. Okay, let's wait a second. Download. The maintenance unit is moving back away from the print heads. And then there comes the head down to start the print. Okay, so the printer is starting now, and while he is printing, we see the files coming out. But I now want to finish here from the demo center. I want to say thank you to the listeners, thank you to the attendees of this webinar today with Avery Dennison, and bye-bye, and I give now back to Vladimir. Cheers.
All right, I apologize once again to everybody who experienced issues with the video. We checked everything multiple times, but apparently there is always something happens. So I think majority of people had a very good sound in the video, but for some people it was an issue. We will send you the link after that, so you can experience good quality video after that. Because we face these technical issues, we don't really have time now to handle the rest of the questions. So most of the questions are answered below. But for those of you who haven't received answers to your questions, we will follow up with you after that session. So yeah, we'll have your contact details and we will follow up with you directly. On that note, I would like to thank everyone and thank Martin and Natalia once again. It was great content, and I very much liked how you linked your presentations together in one general idea. Let's quickly look at the polls as we still have 1 minute. Just to remind you, the question was, do you print labels with removable properties on your digital printing press? And we have 40% of people answered yes, 33%, the things are changing as I look at that. So 43% of people say yes. So basically, removable labels are printed with digital press. About 30% of people do not print such labels on digital press. And also you see some percentage of people who actually do not print but see an interest in the future. So it's something, some segment for you to look at, how you can utilize your digital printing press. On that note, I would like to close this session. We have a good attendance today to take into account the coming holiday season. So I would like to thank you all very much for that, for joining the sessions. We have more sessions and topics on digital printing coming in the future. So please follow up our newsletter and join our webinars. So on that note, I would like to close the session. Wish you a very good day and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.